Welcome everyone, this is Shadow Drake, and this is going to be the big meat and potatoes part of it, and my audio is just going to be overlaid over some visuals just because there's quite a lot to go over, a lot of stuff to do, and I'm not entirely sure just what kind of gameplay footage I can capture of most of this, but I will absolutely try to get gameplay captures of possible stuff that the traders will buy and sell. And a good chunk of the information I will just put it as either captions or something overlaying the screen. So let's get into this. Before I get into the individual trader types, I will say that the stationeers does separate them into three tiers. And using the game's vernacular, it's going to be the close tier, medium tier, and far tier. And that just really affects the difficulty of scanning them down. Like you would need a higher level dish to scan down a far tier and or a bigger pad, but I will get to those details later. Just understand that the traders will vary slightly depending on the tiers, and usually the main variance is if they sell anything that has a variable stock, or like they could sell three of these items minimum or five of these items minimum. The farther tiers tend to increase how much is sold, or buys in this case. And in some trader cases, it will affect their wares, and I will detail them as mentioned. Feel free to skip around in this video, as this is just meant to be an information dump. And so swap to traders that you're more interested in, but there are 10 available types, and I will go through them one by one. So our first trader is going to be the ore trader, and I will list the hash IDs and all the names for these traders, and they all have different names. There are 10 possible names for the ore traders, so that if you see any of these names on your dish, uh, excuse me, your computer, this is an ore trader. And in general, the ore trader will sell you ores and some ISIS, like oxides and volatiles, and they generally buy food packages. And I forgot to mention this. Food traders can buy certain packages, and it just really is just boxes filled with the appropriate items. For example, some traders may buy a hard suit package, which is just literally a hard suit helmet and uh, suit. And the suit may have some restrictions, like you need to have an oxygen tank, waste tank, a certain size battery, a charge, have certain filters. And all you do is fulfill these requirements, and the trader will happily buy them. Packages are usually a good way to make money, or to offload a bunch of stuff. But you still need to adhere to the restrictions, otherwise the trader will not accept them. Moving back to the ore trader, they have the they do have a tier restriction. At at the close tier, you'll only be able to buy the basic ores like iron, silicon, gold, coal, and copper. Yeah, but when you get to the medium traders and higher, you'll you'll actually be able to buy lead, nickel, cobalt, and silver. Now, unfortunately, all of these ores are on a static amount. You can only buy a certain amount from these guys. It will not vary between the tiers. The only thing that varies is what they have available. The ore trader can sell you oxide and volatiles, so this is a way to get some oxides and volatiles for use in the hot planets. They do have a chance to buy some junk ores, and then as far as the stuff they buy, they generally buy food packages, and it's what you get is, or what they would choose to buy from you is randomized, so there is some RNG to that. But they also have a chance to buy drills, backpacks, or mining belts. That's it with the ore trader. Moving on, the next trader will be the alloy trader. Sorry. There are 11 possible names with the alloy trader, and to sum up, they basically sells you alloys, not ingots, alloys. These will be the stuff you would need to use a furnace or an advanced furnace to make, and they buy ores. Now, similar to the ore trader, um, the tier does not affect how much you buy from them, only what you can buy. At the close tier trader, you can just buy the basic alloys, stuff that you can make in the normal furnace, and basically will buy ores, just like the ore traders. So they can kind of go hand in hand in that, except that they will buy at a lower price than what you bought them for. So just keep that in mind. Once you get to the medium tier or higher, they now begin to sell the super alloys. So it is a good way to skip advanced furnace stuff to get your super alloys. They will also buy the higher tier ores. So again, lead, nickel, cobalt, and silver, and the super alloys will be hastaloy, astraloy, stellite, inconel, and waspaloy. It's They will be very pricey, but the alloy trader is probably one of the best ones for getting a lot of money early on, because you should always probably be having a ton of ores unless you're in space. So they are a good money making method. Um, Interestingly enough, in addition to the packages and the ores, the medium tier trader can potentially buy fuel mix, and then the far tier trader for the alloys is the one who can possibly buy nitrous fuel mix. Whether that matters to you or not is up to you. Moving on, there is the food trader. Uh, they have 11 possible names for this type of trader, and in general, they just sell you food and they buy produce. Now, what I mean by food, it's more or less like food making materials. So, like flour, eggs, and sometimes canned food. They do have a variable stock, so the higher tiers can potentially sell you greater amounts. And they buy produce. So basically anything that you make from the plants they will buy. They do have a few set plant produce that they will buy, but most of them are pretty much a chance base. So you could have different food traders buy, for example, pumpkins, and the next one may not even buy pumpkins from you, and instead could choose to buy uh, what's another one, like cocoa. So keep in mind that if you plan on selling your produce, you may or may not be able to sell produce to these traders. Moving on. Next one is the Hydroponics Trader. This is more easily known as the seed trader. There are 12 possible names, and as the name implies, they sell you seeds. And they generally buy plant appliances or planters, hydroponics devices, all of that stuff, and water and CO2. Now, the thing that's special about the seed trader is that their stock is pretty much set. Um, when you buy a seed for them, it is basically a seed package. So if you buy a potato seed from them, it's a package of 3 seeds. Their stock does not really change very much, with the exception of the far tier trader. The far tier hydroponics trader has a chance of selling you some special plant seeds like the Darga fern or the wintercress or the Hades flower variants, alien shrooms. But the far tier trader will also sell you fertilized eggs to hatch your own chickens. And so this is a very rough trader to have this stuff locked in to the far tier. And as far as stuff that they buy, they do buy some various hydroponic devices. And the far tier trader could have a chance of buying the genetic appliances, like the genetic stabilizer. All right, moving on. The next trader is our gas trader, and as the name implies, they sell mostly gases, and they generally buy some gases depending on the planet you're playing on. There are 10 possible names for this trader, and in essence, the gas trader will be a very useful trader for stockpiling on specific gases, especially on Vulcan and Venus. You'll have a much easier time pressurizing your base or making it livable if you buy the bulk oxygen, nitrogen, and even CO2 that they give out. They do sell some water, All of their stock is essentially variable. So you could get a certain number of moles, and of course, higher tier traders means you have a chance to get more items or sell more to them. Now, these guys do have a planetary restriction. The gas trader can buy ISIS, but they will not buy any ISIS in Vulcan and Venus. By ISIS, I mean oxides, nitrides, and volatile ice. So they will not buy those in Vulcan and Venus. Additionally, they have a chance to buy gases from the planet that you are on. So for Europa, they will buy oxygen from you. However, the planetary gases they want to buy from you must be cooled down to basically room temperatures. So it is up to you to decide if sucking in planetary atmosphere and then cooling it or heating it to the temperatures they ask is worth it to you. Uh, Interestingly enough, they do also sell, in quotation marks, pollutants to you. And I say that in quotations because they actually pay you money to take these pollutants. Doesn't sound like very much, but the ability to have these pollutants is actually going to be very useful if you're going to be planning some phase change related heat pump setups and you just need pollutants to, or cool pollutants to help kick your system up. The only chance type that they have is they can potentially buy filters, but it is kind of chance to determine what filter they will buy from you. Moving on, we have the Construction Trader, aka Build Inc. That is their only name. So if you see Build Inc., you are guaranteed to know what these guys sell and buy from you. Now, these guys sell basic building materials, so frames, walls, steel sheets, plastic sheets, glass sheets, the general stuff that you usually need to print a ton of, they sell. They do buy alloys in return. Now, one thing that these guys do not sell are insulated pipes. They do sell normal pipes, they don't sell liquid pipes. You still have to make those on your own. Now, one thing to note is their stock is not very variable. It's actually set stock. Um, as far as trade size, the medium tier Build Inc. trader will sell you heavy cables, and they will begin to buy super alloys from you. Now, they do have a chance to buy an autolay printer mod from you. Whether that matters to you, that's all there is. A fairly good trader. And honestly, I buy a lot from these guys to build up my base because I don't want to print that stuff. So it's up to you. Moving on, we have the Liquid Trader. Now, just like the Gas Trader, the Liquid Trader basically sells liquids. There are 11 possible names for the Liquid Traders. So they sell liquids, and they don't really buy very much supplies from you. Mostly liquid canisters, filters, and that's about it for them. Oh, and water ice. Uh, Due to the nature that they sell liquids, they do have variable stock. And so if you are in need of water, these are the cheapest traders to get water from. Plus, the liquids are going to be in really cold temperatures that can be useful for cooling down in your hot worlds, or even getting yourself started on getting the fuel mixes for liquid rockets. So they are useful for that. Because they could buy filters, again, it's chance to determine what filter they get. One planetary restriction is they will not buy water ice from you in the hot worlds. Moving on, we have the hardware trader. Now, this is probably one of the two traders that are the least helpful, in my opinion. You may find them more helpful than me, uh, but they have 9 possible names, and essentially what the hardware trader sells is essentially tools and some building supplies at a marked up price. They are not Build Inc. in the sense that they will have variety, but they can have some use in that regard. Uh, they do have they have variable stock on building supplies, and they don't sell as much as Build Inc. does. They do not buy anything special. The only thing they could buy are if they roll any of the packages. Alright. The next one is the Consumables Trader, and also, in my opinion, one of the worst ones. But at least this one can be slightly more useful. Recently, they have been updated. There are 7 possible names for the Consumable Trader, and at first they only sold the basic survival stuff, something like filters, canisters. But now they also were given a stock to sell some food, again in a marked up price, but it's still something that can make them some use. Uh, their stock is variable by the very nature of the stuff that they sell, but these traders can sell you heal pills, droid repair kits, and hand sanitizer. Um, like the previous trader, the hardware trader, they do not buy anything special. The only thing that they would buy is if they roll on any of the predetermined ship packages. And the final trader is the Appliance Trader. There are 8 possible names for this trader, and they, as the name implies, they generally sell appliances. Um, but if you have had a near base ending accident and you manage to get a trade supply up, this would be the only trader that you could get an auto lathe kit from. Barring the RNG nature of this is your only saving grace, assuming you have had an electronics printer and enough supplies to get a trade pad going. Um, Now, nearly all of their appliances are chance based and randomized, with the exception of a few. So, like the microwave and the portable scrubber might be something that are not chance based, but you could potentially snag a lucky chemistry station or a weather station from these guys. Um, as far as trader tier, they oh, I never mentioned they buy basically cables and electronic related ingots and supplies. So like they will buy cables, electronic parts, and some IC10 chips. That's about the only thing special they have. A medium tier trader can potentially buy gold and silver ingots from you, and a far tier trader can potentially buy electrum. All of these are chance based, so it is extremely you're not guaranteed to be able to sell to these guys consistently, with the exception of the cables and electronic parts. Oh, glad we got through this. This is basically all your 10 trader types. And after this, moving on, we're going to start talking about landing pad sizes for these 3 different tiers. Hope to see you then. Thank you. Have a good day.